Welcome students. Today we are going to start your 11th chapter, that is active and passive voice. So before learning what is active and what is passive voice, let's first read what is voice. What do we mean by voice? Okay. So voice is the form of a verb that indicates whether the subject of a sentence performs or receives an action. In simpler words, voice describes the relationship between a subject and the verb, between the subject of the sentence and its verb. Voice describes the relation that whether the subject is the doer of the action or is the receiver of the action. Whether it is a doing, whether it is receiving. Means whether I am beating or whether I am getting beaten. I am getting that thing. Okay. See, if the action is done by the subject, then it is known as active voice. Means when I am beating, it is an active voice. And if the action is done to the subject, then it is in passive voice. And if I am getting that beating, then it's the passive voice. For example, the elephant eats the bananas. The elephant eats the bananas. Means the elephant is eating the bananas. Means the action is done by the elephants. The action is done by the subject. This is my subject, this is my verb, and this is my object. The subject is doing. Subject is doing. Here, the bananas, the same sentence. The bananas are eaten by the elephant. Here, the subject is my banana. The action is done on the banana. The bananas are eaten. Here the elephant is doing the work. The elephant is eating the bananas. Here the bananas are eaten by the elephant. Okay, this is the thing, that in active voice the subject is the doer. In passive voice the subject is the receiver. Now what happens, what we have noticed over here, that here the subject is the elephant and the object is bananas, but here the object is banana but the subject is elephant. So this is what happens in active passive. The subject object reverses their places. They interchange the place. In active voice, as the subject is the doer, so elephant eat the bananas. And when it is changing in my passive voice, as here the subjects are supposed to receive the action, that's the reason why the object is changing its place. And this object is coming over here and it is becoming the subject where the action is done. And in this way, the action is happening in this process. Here the action is happening in this way. Okay. Just the reverse is happening. Okay. Now see. Now there are certain rules of changing from active to passive voice. What are the rules? While changing the sentences of active into passive, there are certain rules. What are they? The object of the active verb becomes the subject in the passive voice, and the subject of the active verb is made object in the passive voice, followed by a preposition by in most cases. Okay. And however, when the subject is unknown, if the subject is not known by somebody, by someone, in that case by is not required. What is happening? Here the subject, this is the subject, this is the verb, this is the object. It is becoming reverse. Now here the subject of the active voice is becoming the object of the passive voice. Here the object of the active voice becoming the subject of the passive voice. This is the first rule which I explained. Okay. Next, only transitive verbs are changed into passive voice. Only transitive verbs are changed into passive voice. Reason that why only transitive verb are changed into passive voice? Because intransitive verb do not have object. Intransitive verb do not have object. And if there is no object, then how can you make it in a subject? Supposedly, if there is no bananas, what will be placed in place of the subject in the passive voice? There will be no subject, right? So that's the reason that we do not only transitive verb can be changed, not intransitive verb such as walk. For example, I walk. Okay, I walk, he walks, he jogs. These are intransitive verb. They do not require, he jogs every day. They are intransitive verb. They do not have the object, and if there is no object, it cannot be transformed into passive voice, because in passive voice you will not have any subject, right? Next, while changing an object of the active verb in the subject of the passive verb, personal pronouns are changed. For example, I am eating apple. I am eating apple. So when I'm changing this into passive, what will I say? An apple is being eaten by me. So I is changing to me. We, our. He, him. He is eating apple. Apple is eaten. Apple is being eaten by him. He is transformed into him. See, I, me. We, us. She, her. He, him. They, them. You, it. These two will not change. But this personal pronoun will change. Okay. So, next are the formats that are given. Simple present tense. Format of simple present tense is verb or verb plus s. Okay. The format is verb plus s, and it will transform into is, am, are plus verb v3. It will transform into is, am, are plus v3. Next, see, the plants are watered by Rohit. Rohit waters the plants. The plants are watered by Rohit. See, plants, waters, v plus s, are watered. Okay. Present continuous tense. Is, am, are plus verb plus ing is transformed into is, am, are plus being plus v3. Means is, am, are plus verb plus ing is transformed into is, am, are plus being plus v3. Okay. Next, present perfect tense has, have plus b3 is transformed into has, have plus been plus verb 3. See, the car has hit an old man. An old man has been hit by v3. Has, have plus b3. Okay, this is your format. This is the format of present perfect tense. Next is in tense we have read about. Sorry, there was an issue with this thing. Okay, so next form of your tense is present perfect continuous tense. Then let me say you, present perfect continuous tense does not change in your active passive. Okay, so in present tense it's only simple present, present continuous and present perfect are the tenses that will change. Next is your past indefinite tense, that is simple past, means v2 will transform into was, were plus v3. See, Rohit bought a laptop. A laptop was bought by Rohit. Bought is transformed into was bought. Next is past continuous tense. Was, were plus verb plus ing. Okay, was, were plus verb plus ing. Ankit was clearing the car. So this is changed into was, were plus being plus v3. Means the car was being cleaned by Ankit. See, the car is written wrong. It will be was. The car was being cleaned by Ankit. The boys were flying kites. The kites were being flown by boys. Here are certain mistakes. Please correct this. The car was and the kites were. Okay, singular plural. With singular, this is a singular object. That's why I'm using singular verb. This is a plural object and that's why I'm using plural verb. Okay, this was your past continuous. Was, were plus verb plus ing will be transformed into was, were plus being plus v3. Next, past perfect tense. Format of past perfect tense: had plus V3. Had plus V3. Okay, this will transform into had plus been plus, this is E, plus V3. Farmers had plowed the field. The field had been plowed by the farmers. She had won the prize, the first prize. The first prize had been won by her. She is transformed into her. Okay, this is your past perfect tense. Next is your future indefinite tense. Okay, today we will be doing only up to future indefinite tense. Format of future indefinite tense is will, shall plus root form of verb, means V form of verb plus V form of verb. This will be transformed into will, shall plus be plus V3. I will make a greeting card. I will make a greetings card will be transformed into a greeting card will be made by me. Will, shall plus be plus V3 of the verb. Okay, we will be doing only up to this much, and we will start from your future continuous tense, and later are your modal verbs in your next part, and there are certain transformations also. So go through the chapter, see if you have any doubts, and if you find any doubt, we will have our online classes. We can clarify then and there. Okay, so read properly and stay safe. Bye.